Hi everyone, it's Catherine. A couple of my videos lately, people have said they would like to hear a little bit about the books I've been reading, so I thought, let's have a little book talk today. Book talk with Catherine. So, okay, October for me was just such a fun month of reading, so I thought I would just share with you what I read this month. I was excited about several of them. They did not disappoint, so let me get started. So the first thing is I have my reading journal all done up, kind of gothic-y, you know, Halloween time colors. And so I'm going to use that to help me remember that I don't leave anything out. Because sometimes I do that. So first of all, I am doing my 90-day Bible reading. So it really surprised me I read this much. Because I started it, it's September, October, and November, so I'm like right in the middle of it. But I'm using my NIV, this one. It was new to me for this read. I am enjoying it, and I'm almost done, so this will be completed at the end of next month, and I'm excited about that. But then, you know, I've also read on it through the year, so... And then in October, November, and December, I read the whole thing. But also... I have wanted to handwrite the Psalms, and now that I'm doing that, I want to do rewrite the whole Bible by hand. You know, that'll take a while. But anyway, so I'm doing that. I'm on to the second notebook. I'm in Psalms 119. And so that's like, you know, I'm reading Psalms again on top of my 90-day Bible read. So it's like a double whopper of Psalms, I guess. And but you can never have too much of those. In my personal opinion, I love the Psalms. Okay, so that's for that. Okay, now for my spiritual or my biblical studies challenge that I'm doing, it was now I don't even remember the subject for last month. Oh my, see, I do not need to be filming a video. Oh, goodness. Okay, well, whatever the subject was, I ended up reading The Practice of the Presence of God in Spiritual Maxims by Brother Lawrence, which is a Christian classic from like the 1600s. He was a monk in France. And so like it starts out with just these people talking about conversations they had with him. And then there's like letters from him. And then there's like these... they called them spiritual maxims, but they're just like his little thoughts, you know, like little essay kind of. And, but they're so encouraging. He's just encouraging his friends to just be strong in the faith. And now there was some Catholic type leanings, of course, because he was a monk, but it was still very good. And I really enjoyed it. Very short read, but it was very encouraging, and I would recommend reading it. And I made, you know, some notes here. I really enjoyed, that was from so I could write a review, you know, about it. So I encourage reading that if you like it. Then this month I read The Hour That Changes the World by Dick Eastman. Yeah, I don't know how, I can't remember now how I heard about this book. But, you know, I'm all about trying to improve my prayer life. And it sounded intriguing to me. So I read it on the Hoopla. Or was it Libby? One of them. And it was so good. You know, I made that little prayer book after I had read it. So I went on eBay and I like this old copy, you know, because I'm trying to buy old books now. I just love them. And so to me, it was enough that I wanted it in my personal library. And again, that's The Hour That Changes the World. And I'm going to put this into practice. Like I said, I already made that little prayer book and I used that wheel that he uses. There is one of them in here somewhere, right there. You know, he goes through the whole wheel. And so, yes, I recommend this. Short read, very good. Then I read, what's next? Okay, My husband said he loved this book as a kid, and so he went on eBay and he got it for him, and he read it, and he was like, I think you should read this. I think you'll like it. Well, yes, he was right. I did. And that is The Mouse and the Motorcycle by Beverly Cleary. I never read this as a kid. I didn't read anything by Beverly Cleary. I usually just stuck to what the school said to read, right? I just never read like a whole bunch of stuff that I probably should have read. But I was always playing outside and singing, but I still enjoyed reading. I don't know. But this, oh my goodness, this little mouse and the motorcycle and the boy and the whole story was so cute. I would lay there in the bed and I would just start laughing. It was so good. I literally LOL'd, okay? And just, it was adorable. It was simply adorable. Even if you're an adult and you haven't read it, I would read this book. It's so cute. Anyways, yes. 5 stars. Okay. Then I read The Shivering World, and I don't have this. I read it on either Hoopla or Libby, so I had to put a picture up here. But I read this one for my Christian science fiction, and this one went in the one, I think, for the 80s, or was it the 90s? The 80s, right? Or the 90s? I don't know. One of the two. And it was good. I liked the fact that it was like on another planet and there was some time travel and it dealt with like ecological stuff and this, you know, she was a scientist and I really enjoyed that. So it was good. I can't say like it was just like a 3-star for me, but it was really good if you're into that kind of stuff. And then I read another book on either Hoopla or Libby. I can't remember. I should start writing that down. Like I write it on my stat sheet, but not on like when I write my little notes in my journal. So I read Dawn's Untrodden Green by Carolyn Miller. I'll have to put a picture up here. I wanted to read this one because I'd already read about 1/4 of it, and then for some reason I had to like stop reading it. And this finishes the series called the Wildflower series or something. The first 2 were really gothic. This one wasn't that gothic to me, but I started reading that like 3 years ago, okay? Or 3 years ago, a long time ago. And like I still remembered everything I had read, right? And I always wanted to go back to it. So that to me is a positive, right? But it would finish off that series for me, and I really liked it. You know, it just, to me, it gave some Persuasion vibes. I mean, I'm not a Jane Austen expert, but that, of all the ones I've read, that's my favorite. And to me, it kind of had that same feeling because of the captain and the lady's personality and just a whole bunch of the stuff. So anyways, I really liked that one. I think I gave it, 4 stars. And then the last things I read this month was also, it meant a lot of things. Like it helped me in Anne's, read the classics thing, and in my Christian fiction, and in my Christian science fiction. Of course, and it's a classic too. So, anyways, A Wrinkle in Time. Now this is the first 3. It says trilogy, but really there's 5. So I don't know why this was like a trilogy and why didn't they include the other 2? I don't know. But I thought the cover was really cool, and so I got this one. My husband doesn't have it in his library either. But so it includes The Wrinkle in Time, Wind in the Door, and A Swiftly Tilting Planet. And so I read all 3, and this one meets Anne's. This one meets one of my Christian science fiction, and this meets the 60s. This one, no. This is the 60s, this is the 70s, or is this 70s and this 80s, and then that's what the other one was, the 90s. Something. So I read all 3, and I love The Wrinkle in Time. Okay, y'all, that was so good. And then I also really liked The Wind in the Door. The Swiftly Tilting Planet was good, but I kind of started to lose a little bit of interest right in this one. And but I still liked it because she was an older, like as an adult, and she was pregnant. The main girl of the Wrinkle in Time. It all had different feels to them, I thought, but they were all so good. And I think I went 5 stars, 5 stars, 4 stars. Yeah. And okay, so then when I had finished, I wanted to watch the Disney movie of this. Yeah, you could skip that if you want, because it really alters from the book, in my opinion. They like switch up the characters and they mix their personalities, and yeah, the 3 women, you know, and they mix them up, and I didn't like that, and I don't know. But yes, I would recommend, if you haven't read this, even if you don't like science fiction, it's still really interesting. And it does have like a little bit of spiritual things you can pull from it, you know, and so I like that. But it doesn't overly feel that way, you know, but she does, you know, quote verses and stuff like that. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. And so that is what I've read. Oh my goodness, I've talked 13 minutes. I have, this coming month, I am reading a book about the church history of America. And y'all, I've already started it, and it's getting really good. I'm up to 1775 and just read a bunch about like Jonathan Edwards and stuff like that. And I like the more like church part, you know, and the denominations and how all that got started, really more than the political stuff. But, you know, they are intertwined, and you got to read them both. So you got to take them for what, you know, together. And so it's all very interesting. I'm enjoying it. But I read it at night before bed. That's kind of deep, you know. So I'm going slow going on that. So I'm glad I started it early. And then also in November, of course, my 90-day Bible study, my Bible reading, and then that church history book, and one other. Oh, I want to read this Lady in the Attic book, because my mother-in-law gave it to me, and I want to read it and so I can get it back to her, you know. When people give me a book, it's like I feel like I need to hurry up and read it, you know, like, because I don't want to keep it for too long. So that's what I've been reading. Have you read any of these? What are you reading what did you read in October that you really liked? I can definitely say the book of the month for me. It was a hard pick between A Wrinkle in Time and The Mouse and the Motorcycle, but I thought, yeah, let's be adult here. I mean, they're both children's books, but Wrinkle in Time is a little bit more adulty. So I put that as my book of the month. So yeah, I've really learned that I like children's literature, and so I want to explore that a little bit next year. The children's literature, more cozies, and of course my Christian history type classics and Christian classics and all that. I have a big plan for that I'm kind of thinking. And I am going to do another biblical study thing. I've already picked out my subjects, and I'll share that with y'all soon if you'd like me to. I'm getting excited about that. And yeah, I just love learning about the Lord, and I like creative and listening to music and just thinking about the Lord and reading the Bible, and handwriting the Bible has been so calming. And yeah, and I try not to get upset when I make mistakes. So anyways, okay, hope everybody is doing well. Let me know if you still like the book videos. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.